What it do, what it is, how we do in NASCAR Nation. It's your boy Mamba Smith on a NASCAR Daily Thursday. I'm excited for this one. We got the guy. I call him Superman. Some call him the best in the world. Kyle Larson is on the line. Kyle, Young Money Larson, what's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
This is like my second day in a row. I've got to hang out with you. I feel like I never see you except on stage nowadays.
I know, I know. Yeah, you're so famous now that we rarely get to
I'm
see you.
so famous.
Good.
This guy races 4 times in one weekend, but I'm the famous one.
You know, hey, hey, we all choose our own jobs, I guess. But yeah, you're. I feel like you got that celebrity status. At least you look that way with your style.
Well, I appreciate that. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, get you guys, to change your style up a little bit, try to catch up. Now, I
Nobody
will
has
say,
as you, so
well, I will say your style has gotten a lot better over the last like couple years. Like it has stepped up. Like I've seen you add some things into your
maybe just
wardrobe.
the shoes, shoes,
Well,
and like the banquet week. That's about it.
yeah, okay. That's fair. That's fair. Listen, man, you're coming off a big win at Homestead. I know you were trying to do the sweep, truck Xfinity Cup came up a little bit short. How important is it to you to get that? Because now, you're starting to knock things off the bucket list that are, pretty big goals.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not something that I like overly think about, but. Yeah, I think when you get the opportunity, which the opportunity is a lot less these days for us to run triple duty on a weekend. So
Yeah.
yeah, when you get that chance, you definitely want to try to execute the best possible way. And unfortunately, yeah, we just came up a little bit short there in the Xfinity race, but all in all, had a great weekend and have another opportunity here at Bristol coming up in a couple weeks. So. It'd be tough though. I think much tougher at Bristol than
Yeah.
Homestead. So we'll see. But I know I got good cars and a good truck, and we'll definitely try.
Okay. All right. Well, your Wednesday was full of real life stuff. Let's start with where we were. We were at Darlington Raceway. You unveiled your new paint scheme for Throwback Weekend coming up for the Goodyear 400 out there. Terry Labonte's '03 scheme from that the Southern 500, his last win in 2003. That's pretty special, and I think it's really cool that you guys have been able to integrate Kellogg's back into the scheme rotation a little bit. I know it's iconic for so many people.
Yeah, absolutely. It's back-to-back years with extremely cool looking race cars, but
Yeah.
iconic ones too. So in Hendrick Motorsports, they always go above and beyond on everything, and everybody at Hendrick Automotive Group really gets behind the throwback weekend, so it makes it a lot of fun for all of us involved. Really cool to get Terry Labonte involved in it. Hall of Famer, all that. So it's cool to hang out with him, and yeah, this scheme is really neat because yeah, as you mentioned, won his final race at Darlington Raceway in that same paint scheme in '03. So it would be nothing better than to bring that paint scheme back to the track where he won his.
Yeah.
So we have a good opportunity every time we go to Darlington. So just got to execute as always and try to just put ourselves in position.
Man, when we met, it was probably, I think it was 2011 at the NASCAR Diversity Combine. And when you showed up, like everyone was like, "Oh man, this is Kyle Larson. Kyle's been winning all this stuff on dirt." And like I literally had no idea. But what I did notice about you from the jump was that you were just very like soft spoken. You were a humble guy, like you just like to drive race cars and you're just a real racer. And I feel like that really translates to our core fans and to new fans and people like, man, this guy just wants to drive race cars and wants to do it at a high level. And how have you been able to keep that, with all your success, how have you been able to just to keep the same mindset from when I met you way back then?
Yeah, I don't know. I think probably just being surrounded by normal, humble people.
Yeah.
I think probably helps the most. Obviously, yeah. I mean, we live a bougier lifestyle than we did back in 2011 and 12, but I definitely feel like I'm still the same person. So
Yeah.
I credit that to my upbringing. With my parents, my friends, my wife. kids for sure, keep you humble. So, but yeah, I just, I like to be relatable. And I feel like there's a lot of relatable drivers in our sport, and we all kind of have our different ways to be relatable. And I think mine, it seems that the fans really get behind is that yeah, I race all the time, and you can catch me at the NASCAR track on Sundays or in the middle of nowhere on a Tuesday night, a dirt track. So I'm just kind of popping all around all the time, and I think people really appreciate that. And I love getting to do all the things that I get to do.
I've often thought that, now that there's not as much practice, now that you guys don't run all the series, every weekend as much as you guys used to, for you being able to be in the seat all week long really is a benefit to you just staying in the race craft in general. And I feel like you've kind of kicked the door down for other guys. You see Seabell, he's getting some more dirt track time. You see Ty Gibbs, William, your teammate, he's got a lot of late model races he does throughout the year. I feel like you've really opened that door up to show the owners like, hey, there's a value in us running more and with the grassroots stuff.
Yeah, and I always felt that that was the way. When I was racing or wanting to race a lot, when I first got to Cup. But I was pretty restricted, and they would open it up, each year a little bit more and more. But I just, I loved my time at Ganassi, but we just didn't have the equipment on Sundays to really showcase that, the dirt racing wasn't
Yeah.
hindering me. So I think there was always that conversation, that, oh, Kyle Larson isn't focused enough. He needs to put all his eggs into one basket, and this dirt racing extracurricular stuff is hurting him on Sundays. Well, once I got to Hendrick Motorsports and had the best equipment out there, it's like the conversation quickly flipped 180. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Kyle Larson's better than everybody because he races all the time. He's behind the wheel all the time, and like it's just funny. But I love to see that other drivers are venturing out more and trying different things, or even just racing cars that they grew up racing more often now. Like you said, there's way less track time than we had pre-COVID.
Hmm.
So yeah, you can not. I don't know if you get behind, by not being behind the wheel a lot, but it's hard to see your competitor, you know, racing something, and you just feel like he's getting an edge on you. So
Yeah.
it's pretty good. I like it for the sport. I think local racetrack, getting your Cup Series guys to that track, getting them more exposure to the race fans, all that just builds the sport.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you talked about the narrative. Last year, the narrative was it was like you versus Max Verstappen, and I'm not gonna lie, I kept spinning that pot. I kept that thing spooled up all last year because I love it, and I think that what our guys do, not to discredit anything that anyone else does, but what our guys do is different week to week with the different racetracks, and people think we're just turning left, but you guys are razor edge and trying to do the same thing every lap. And there's only four corners to do it, right? So there's a lot of different things that go into that I think a lot of people outside of NASCAR don't know. Do you listen to any of that chatter? And does it fuel you? Do you not care? Like I feel like as much as you're in the media, it'd be hard for me not to hear it and for it not to fire me up a little bit?
Um, Honestly, I don't really pay much attention to that topic
Yeah.
because I know and understand, and as much as you don't want to accept it, like American auto racing and American drivers do not get the credit that we deserve. So
Yep.
it's always not. I hope it's not always that way, but the open wheel European style fan just they don't understand our racing, and they do think we just turn left all the time. But um, we are probably some of the most talented, overall diverse drivers in the world. When you just strictly look at the Cup Series schedule, the style of tracks that we go to, the cars that we're racing, the cars that we're racing during the week, different surfaces and stuff, like I don't think there's a more diverse, more well-rounded, crop of drivers as there
Yeah.
would be in the Cup Series. But even American auto racing, just we're pretty fortunate to have all the different types of racing that we do in the States. So um, I know that we're all good. I don't really need the the clout from the other half of the world.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, it is what it is. The fans, the racing is so small in America compared to the rest of the world. So that's what I realized when I went to my first F1 race in Abu Dhabi in 2021. It was really eye opening that you think what you're doing in the States is really big and really cool, and everybody or the most majority of people are paying attention, but they do not care. So um, yeah, so you know when a nobody like me says what I said last year, they just laugh.
I mean, I will speak for all of us on this side. We appreciated it, and we appreciated the fire and the fight that it brought. Man, you're so yesterday, Owen went back to Victory Lane at Millbridge. You had your whole family there. I saw the picture. I thought that was so cool. It was Owen, Aubrey, and Cooper
Cooper.
all on the car. I
Yeah.
thought that picture was badass, man. I think like what you guys do with your family, you and Caitlyn. I think it's so cool. And now we got Owen, you got Cash, you got Brexton, Keelan, now Wyatt Miller. Like all these kids are coming up at the same time, and I think it's given a real boost to the grassroots community.
Yeah, no, it's what they have at Millbridge, and really, I mean, not just Millbridge, as you mentioned, Keelan and stuff. Like, there's so many Jay McMurray's son Carter. There's so many, NASCAR, whether it be drivers, mechanics, crew chiefs, whatever, sons and daughters racing now.
Mhm.
It's pretty awesome. You show up to Millbridge on a Tuesday and Wednesday, and it's like the whole garage area is there. So it's really cool. And yeah, Owen had a great night last night. Won the restricted micro race there. Was good for him because Tuesday night in the go karts was horrible. Probably one of his worst nights, but so good for him to rebound and get a win. He's going to race quite a bit this year, so
Nice.
I'm excited about that. I hope he figures it out more and more each week. It was really cool last night to be there to witness the Kyle Busch and Brexton Busch, you know, racing together for the first time. Like as a
How
fan,
was that? What'd you see? Did it like be like, man, I want to do that with Owen? Like what'd you think watching those two guys race together?
um, yeah, I mean, I definitely will race Owen someday, but I still think he's too young. Where Brexton's like a decent level better than Owen. So
Mhm.
at this point, but
Right.
it was really cool to be there last night. Like to look around, like the crowd was really big, and they were there to see Brexton. Like they aren't there to see Kyle. I thought that
That's cool.
was really cool. That I think he's barely 10. I don't even know if he's 10 years old. Um,
Yeah,
like
I think he's 10 or 11. Yeah.
he's younger than Owen. I know that. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it was cool. And Brexton did a really good job. Like he was faster than Kyle at the mid portions of that race, and like Kyle was, you could tell, was getting kind of impatient, and I'm like, man, one more lap, I feel like Kyle's going to try moving up, and Brexton's just going to drive right by him. So they had some cautions, and Kyle just out experienced,
Yeah.
got forward a little bit, but Brexton's really good. Like I know people that probably don't pay attention probably think he's overhyped, and I know he's young, but he's actually really good, especially for his age.
That's really great to hear because it's hard to know, right? If you don't watch that form of racing, what Brexton does, it's hard for you to gauge it because you are going to get a lot of hype. You know what I mean? Just because of the situation. So I know you got stuff to do, man. But before I let you go, I gotta talk a little bit. I gotta ask you a question about Caitlyn. First off, what's the nickname that they gave her? Was it Shotgun Queen?
Shotgun Sweetie.
Shotgun
Hey,
Sweetie.
Sweetie, yeah.
Okay. That first of all, that is fantastic, phenomenal. I love it so much. And if anyone that, yeah, okay, here it is. So Victory Lane, it became a thing. Caitlyn got caught on the camera shotgunning a beer, or I think it was at Dover, a few years back, like side stage. Wasn't even like trying to be a part of it, and then it became a thing, and everyone begs for it and wants it when Kyle wins. So Kyle, what I want to ask you is, what's one thing about Caitlyn that most people probably wouldn't know?
That she's not a partier and that she doesn't really drink. Probably, I think everybody sees her, past videos of her shotgunning and all that and think like, oh my god, she's like the coolest, partier chick ever. Furthest thing from that. So
That's so funny.
she's we're getting older. We don't really drink a whole lot anymore. So yeah, she's kind of given up the shotgunning the last couple years. I think she did it when we won the Brickyard 400 last year. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe just like the really big events she'll do
Yeah.
that now. But yeah, so it would be kind of cool. It was neat seeing her shotgun at Indy on the front stretch there. It'd be even cooler if we got to do it for the 500 here in a couple months. That'd be a first, I would think. For
That would definitely be a first for that whole
I'll be
crowd. But I
drinking
think
shotgun and bush lights.
might have to go to the snake pit. They might have to rename the snake pit after her if that happens.
Yeah.
Brother, I appreciate you, Kyle. We've been friends for so long, won championship together, raced a lot together. I'm proud of all your success and on and off the racetrack, man. It's just great watching you grow, and looking forward to seeing what you do the rest of this year.
Yep. Thanks, Mambo.
Thanks, brother. Thanks again to Young Money, driver of the number 5 for Hendrick Motorsports, for his time, kind of pulling the curtain back on the Larson family and everything he has going on and off the racetrack. That is it for your boy today. I'll see you next week.